Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in and check out your boy, P Funk, thinking right out here in the lab. The last few pages of the book, but I'm in the book. We about to wrap it up. I got a nice little lesson for you, so let's get this party started. You know how we do. Rightism, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. There's a message in the story for life. I give life lessons. You tune in and receive them, I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's do what we do. Right thinking mission, and I'm on it, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking's way of life through mental and spiritual discipline. Practice daily will help and guide you to attain your goal of reaching spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission is that all right thinkers know thyself. If you're a right thinker, your goal is to know thyself. See where we're going with this? Let's get there together. So I ask the question, do you know you? You will form through. That's what I do. It's rhetorical, but if you don't have the answer for yourself, tune in. I can help you with that. That's what I do. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple, but you can teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believe and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know, they're spiritually asleep. I can awake them. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers, know thyself, and to Maya, be true. We're going to talk about how mastering the oneness with the divine, aka yoga of wisdom and devotional yoga. Two things that you need to have to reach this level of mastery. So let's talk about, I'm wrapping up from the Bhagavad Gita. They got a nice little verse. I want to get this in. It says, to them whose mind rests in the divine self, who worship me ceaselessly, 24/7, with what? Devotion, righteousness, and virtue. I give the yoga of wisdom. Why? By which they can attain me. That's what the philosophy teaches you, how to get to God for yourself. That's the mastery of oneness with the divine. Let's break it down a little more. Hope you can get a better understanding. But that's what the goal is, to get you to understand. You make your own connection with God. Now, as the Gnostics and the Egyptian and Asian texts above, I just read through a bunch of this stuff. I'll give you a breakdown. Everybody had an idea, but this form of religious discipline is essential to the development of your higher spiritual consciousness and progress on the path of what you call spirituality. And this cannot occur without wholehearted attention toward the divine, aka God. If you ain't serious about this, don't waste your time, because he know. If it ain't from here, he know. This is because the mind holds the key to bondage and also liberation. Again, your choice of the soul. And if the mind is in a state of bondage, aka ignorance, guess what? It is because it's constantly being bombarded with what? Mental impressions, which intensify the erroneous information about the world due to your ignorance. They can tell you anything. We call them suckers. The sucker born every day. You fall for something, okay? But the way to counteract this negative process, how? Is to reverse the flow of mention. From error or ignorance to what? And from error and ignorance and distraction, turn it into what? The light of wisdom. Start focused on the divine. The most popular form of mental distraction, you ready? In modern times today are the pursuit of pleasures, fulfillments of the flesh, of the senses, pleasures, and modern entertainment, such as my grandmother called the idiot box, the boob tube, but that television and other media outlet. We live in an information age. Information is everywhere. It's running rampant. Your discernment have to get sharp enough to recognize what's good and what's not. Why? They're not going to tell you. That's why. So you have to take control of that. Now, another important idea given here, I'm going to break it down to you, is that it is not exclusively, I've been talking about this for years, necessary to remove yourself from society to acquire knowledge and become seclude oneself from the world in the privacy of a temple. I'm not going to the monastery. I'm not doing it. I always said that. Not that I couldn't. I couldn't handle it. Just that I had other things to do in life. I couldn't just stop everything I'm doing and go do that. So I had to work it in with my daily life. Watch this. That's the lesson I learned. But you don't always have to stop and seclude yourself to the temple walls in order to practice this form of what they call intense spiritual discipline. It's intense, but if practiced correctly and daily, it can be mastered. And since our state of consciousness is created by what? Our experiences in life. That's what we're here for. Our perceptions, our learned behaviors, and our right thinking and reasoning. It is possible to what? To relearn new forms. You can't teach the old dog new tricks, but it's possible to what? Relearn new forms of what? Of reasoning, thinking, changing how you think through what? The study of wisdom teachings and through the daily practice of them when? In your everyday life. You can't do it every now and then. You have to live it. In these new forms of right thinking or reasoning, now it can show you how to deal with what? All life situations, in the light of spiritual values. And in doing this, the flood of ignorance is now reversed even while you remain in the world. No time for that. Carrying out what? Your daily duties, work, obligations, whatever it is. You can still do it, what? Stay God conscious. Okay, that's why. And for this reason, our ancient Egyptian temple system would allow what? The aspirants, the students, to have interactions with the outside world on a regular basis. Why? So in order to get opportunities for each one of them to practice the teachings outside the temple to see if it really worked. Practice what you're learning. Come out here and put it to use. Simple. When confronted with what? Worldly minded people. What y'all doing in there? What you doing? You get bombarded with a whole bunch of questions. You got to be able to handle yourself. That's all. Ain't nothing worse than a Christian, profess to be a Christian, don't know nothing about Christianity. That's like Captain Chaos. I love the Bible. I read the Bible. What's your favorite quote? Well, I only had because you don't read the Bible. Moving on. That's some things are just obvious. Moving on. That's when discernment comes in. They asked them for a quote in the Bible. I don't read the Bible. I know some quotes. But for those who claim to read it, you got to know something. But again, liars. Now, but your whole concern is about worldly minded people. You got to deal with them on the basis of they're going to ask you a whole bunch of questions while still incorporating what? Your periods of intense meditation that shouldn't affect you and withdraw in a balanced program of spiritual practice. Keep it where it's convenient and conducive for you. Don't overdo it. Don't underdo it. Keep the balance. That's my yacht. And with this understanding is the same in Hindu ashrams and even in the Buddha Watts. Those are temples that they worship at, okay? The world, if done right, can be your temple of what? Intense yoga practice for your discipline. When what? When you the aspirant, if you're equipped with the teachings of wisdom and is backed by what? A competent spiritual guidance. Any questions you got about what I'm giving you, all you have to do is ask, I'll answer it. And it will be easy to control your thoughts and your emotions, your feelings of your flesh, and even your anger, your hate, your greed, your love, your lust, etc. When what? When you're in an environment of relative peace and harmony, you start to change how you think and how you feel based on what? Your environment. If you're in that negative environment, it's going to be hard. Okay? So, however, a discipline, well-disciplined, which incorporates what? Constant, intensive provocation, meaning staying on your mind, on your grind, keep God on your mind, as well as your regular opportunities for what? Self-reflection. You got that time on your own. And what? Always daily meditation. If preferable, in the most cases, over a temple environment exclusive of outside stimulus, yeah, that's easy. That's a way to go. But the sages realize that in many instances, again, in the mind of your aspirants, right there, because some people end up fooling themselves into what? Believing that, what, I'm progressing spiritually, I'm getting better. And even develop, what's this, elaborate illusions in their minds about what enlightenment is. So people get the idea and they think they got it. Okay, get one concept and off to the races. Where they got something. Again, now, in order to avoid this problem, right thinkers, the constant practice daily of what? Reflection, blended with what? Contact with the world and contact with an enlightened personality, aka a sage or saint, is the most desirable method of your spiritual discipline. And because it's constantly challenged, temptation, things going on in your life, you, the aspirant, you need to put your ego down. Your job is to put the ego in check, what? Whenever it arises. Whenever you feel that ego trying to step up, you see me doing this? No, down, boy, down. Why? Not now. Not now. I don't need you now. I got this. When I need you, I'll let you know. That's what the ego should be, in servitude to you, for you. Why? Because this is one of the meanings that they spoke of in Matthew, again, a phrase from the Bible. Don't know none of them. So Matthew 16:24. I bet you if I said that number to my pastor, he'd quote that verse. That's knowing that book. Okay. Now, then said Jesus to his disciples, I already know, if any man will come after me, you want to follow my teachings, let him, what? Deny himself, which is ego. Put your ego down, okay? And take up his cross. And what? Follow me. Get the concept? It ain't about you, okay? I got what challenged, okay? Follow me. And what Jesus was doing was initiating a challenge. And my pastor did the same thing to his flock by putting them on the fast challenge for the next 30 days. I'm on board. I jumped in. Okay, I'm making my sacrifice. I can fast. I'm good to go. I love that. So moving on. I took the challenge. But Jesus was offering the challenge to his disciples, which was only 12, just saying, to follow what? The path of, at that time, wasn't even Christianity, but the Christian teachings. That couldn't have been. It was Jews. Which lead to what? Self-denial of what? Your ego effacement. I get the concept, but something I missed there. I'm just saying, Jesus wasn't a Christian. Christianity must then be understood, what? As a discipline of transpersonal, every individual, transpersonal movement for all to become what? Conscious. I got a problem with that. I love that. Akin to what? The Assyrian mystery, the Buddha story, the Sufism, and other mystery cults. They was no different, okay? Which all promote the what? The disillusion of your personal ego self and the emergence of your transcendental, transpersonal conscious self. I just broke it down. Everybody had a way to get to God. Mastering it is up to every individual to pick and choose what may work for you that you can invest in and get what you want out of it. If it ain't to your pick and your choosing, it might not do for you, okay? But if you choose it, that's what you're going to go with. You separate that. I got a nice little time. Now let's get to the good part. Now, I've been dying to get here. I got 2 pages of information, but this is about to be some good stuff. The most important quality that you need to develop as a right thinker is a meditative state of mind. You keep your mind focused on whatever you need to be thinking about, mainly God. I use my yacht. But this is not, what's this, to be thought of as the only mind of a person that sits all day in the cat. No. The mind of a person that sits in a state of deep catatonic meditation, but it's a person who lives while he or she is involved in the affairs of their life in the real world. You don't have time to just go. My mystic, our father, Sadi Guru, he meditates. Okay, we all do. But he went to meditate one day. He said he sat down and meditate. Some time. When he came out of that meditative state of mind, 13 days had passed. That's why I listened to him. Just to let you know. When somebody can do something that impresses you, you should listen to him. I was impressed. Oh, yeah, I follow him. Okay? Like the kid, Kendrick Lamar. If I'm impressed, count me in. I'm a fan. Okay? No problem. But that's the whole point. If you're going to follow somebody, make sure they know what they're doing. Okay? All the time, you need to have God on your mind. Why? All the time knows he or she what? Your true identity, a.k.a. know thyself. A lot of people know their names, their sex, their age, their birth date, and all that good stuff. But they don't know their true self. My goal is to get you to do that. My information is for that purpose only. This is the mind that interacts with every moment of existence. Unlike the previous discussed automatic mind, this quality represents the vision of who? Haru. Third eye vision. You see you, and you get a bird's eye view of who you really are, okay? And which is the vision, okay, to be regained. We came here, we lost our memory of who we were. That vision getting it back. Now you see, now you know yourself, okay? I keep telling you, we are Haru. We are the reincarnated Asar in the flesh, reincarnated to what? Conquer what? That killed our father. Ego. Moving on. That's the concept. And for all Masons, they should be Haru. They don't know it. That's it. Why? Their father's dead. Moving on. Your lodge is made by female. In a sense, people living in our ancient societies, such as they did in Egypt and even in India, watch this, would not have needed to practice what they call formalized forms of meditation. Why? Not as much as they do today. Why? Because back then, knowledge of the existence of God and the gods was not an object of speculation. It was a way of life. But it was inherent in the very fabric of the culture. It was, again, way of life. Spirituality, and everybody who came across us said we were the most spiritual people that they ever known. Why? Because, praise God, we wasn't religious, we were spiritual. Again, spirituality was an inseparable part of their practical life. Again, therefore, their minds would be what? Constantly on what? God, and thinking about and accommodating what? Their divinity, regardless of their activities. They take God wherever they go. I do the same thing with my eye. I just told you I live, eat, sleep, my eye. Same concept, same philosophy. This attitude, watch this, in itself constitutes what? A meditative state of mind. You stand there, you constantly there. So your mind is always on God. It's always occupied. So there's no wiggle room for the devil. No negativity, no bad. Why? You keep your mind and your focus and concentration on what's right and what's good. God, your higher self. And you can use a similar technique of this spiritual discipline. I call it spiritual discipline personally, and joined by what? Modern day spiritual preceptors, they call it mindfulness. Again, being aware, mindful of who? Your higher self. Wherein what that means? Wherein one maintains a sense of one's divine essence when at every moment while performing one's daily tasks. Breathing, walking, talking, resting, or even while answering nature's call, meaning going to the bathroom. Again, I'm on the toilet. I'm still thinking about God. Okay, understand that. That's what they said. It ain't nothing I'm doing that I'm going to take God away from what I'm doing. He's with me all the time. That's the whole point about knowing thyself. And also, this is known as what? The development of what? The witness. I did get a lesson. The eternal witness. I'm on. The hidden one. He's inside you. You have to find him. And this technique aids in your spiritual or all spiritual aspirants in what? In their developing of their expanded awareness aside from the common waking consciousness. You remember super consciousness? That's what you're striving for. Samadhi. Now, through this daily practice, your soul separates itself now from what? The ego personality. He said, man, I want him. I'm going with him. Okay? I'm putting you down. Why? You ain't doing what you need to do. He's doing the right thing. So the ego personality now got nobody to lead, got nobody to follow it. So it's on its own, waiting for you to put it to work. Why? He's looking for something to do. Keep him right there. But that's because when your higher self takes over, the lower self, the ego personality, had to acquiesce. And the ego personality now, the ego obtains knowledge of itself through what? Identification with itself instead of with what? The body, the mind, sense, and perception, the physical body. It got to raise its constant level. No, it's more than just that. That's the spiritual awakening. That's the spiritual enlightenment. You now know that you are more than just the physical body. You let God in. The ambdom concentrated or fulfilled your consciousness now. You start to become aware of your higher self. The world, this is wrapping up. I see I got the time. I might take this all the way out. I'm going to do that. Pay attention. The world is really a manifestation of divine consciousness. With gated concept, we are in God's dream. He's asleep right now, and we're in his conscious individually. He's just letting us have our way. All life is a product of divine thought. He thought everything into existence, okay? Starting with, I am Asar. That's us in physical form. I am Nabercha. That's the all-encompassing spirit hidden. I am the Father. I am the Father, are one, quoted by yours truly, Jesus. I am one with creation. I like that one. The last one, I am God, and God is me. He ain't got to say, I'm the only God. No, that nonsense. That's a human concept, so I don't want to deal with that. So let me break it down for you right quick. So now gradually, you will allow yourself to actually what? Go beyond the gross thought and allow the ego personality to rise up to become what? Intelligent now, not just itself, full of itself. It's allowing itself to merge into what? The higher truth. It's going to give in. And it allows your ego mind to now dissolve into what? Its higher nature when? At all times. It's under your control. He's going to acquiesce. Now you got him. If at work, reflect thus. This job, my boss, my co-workers are all, watch this, expressions of the divine. You see everything. You see God in everything. Now your vision is clear. Watch this. If at home, watching TV, your reflecting is thus. Who? This show and the characters in the TV set are my very self, who I am watching the show are all expressions of who? The divine self. Again, he's starting to see himself, not as just himself. See where we're going with this? You see how it's breaking out? Now, if you're dreaming, reflect thus. This dream world is, again, a product of my own consciousness. You got control of that world, the dream world. This physical world, you have to deal with some stuff. But the dream world is your world. Just as what? The waking, you reflect what? World is a product of the consciousness of God. Again, if you are talking to someone, you reflect on what? Thus, this person who I'm talking to is, yes, an expression of the divine. See where we're going with this? And here we go. He don't address, the ego ain't addressing itself no more as I. It says, I am an expression of the divine. He on board in. He's all in. That's why you see the sign entropy. When you see it, everybody in the boat with Apophis, big long snake, longer than the boat. Only person fighting is Set. Why? He ain't giving up. That's the fight that's in you. That dog, they decide the dog in the fight, decides the fight in the dog. Set is the dog in you, okay? He even got look like a dog somewhat, okay? Funny looking guy. All right, but that's the idea. We are one. Watch this. We are one, though appearing to be separate and distinct. The ego's starting to get it. If you are taking a shower, reflect this. This water, nope, is falling on my body, the tub, the sound of the water, the soap, the towel, etc., are all emanation from the divine. God, dog, I think he's starting to get it. All is divine. All is God. I am with God. There you go. I am within God. Watch this. Always and everywhere I go. Sound like he waking up, don't it? Sound like the ego done got enlightened. Just as a dream is encompassed by what? Your consciousness of the dreamer, the person who having the dream. God got all that covered. This entire universe is encompassed by the divine consciousness. See where we're going with this? And God is the thinker, the dreamer, who is dreaming creation itself. I just told you, we living in God's dream. This is his concept. From the gross thought, I to am, will allow yourself, now your ego self, to what? Feel that there is no separation between I and God. Allow yourself to dissolve that ego self into what? Infinity with the divine. That's how it's done. The ego can't do it by itself. It has to come together with its higher self. And allow your ego self to what? Now relax so deeply as to what? It's going beyond concepts of the mind, the normal mind, and it go to the root of all thought and dive deep into what? The ocean of what we call consciousness. You just relishing in it. You're just there. At the surface of all oceans, the waves display many sizes and shapes and become formless as the ocean as you dive deep into your mind, your ocean conscious. From the waking state, aka Pata, with its waves of thoughts and concepts, you go to the astral level, which is what? Ra, wherein the thoughts first emerge into the mind. And from here, we reversing it. We went Amen, Ra, Pata. We went from spirit to matter. Amen, spirit, seen, Ra, Pata, the physical. We going to take the physical Pata, raise it up to Ra at the next level, identify it. Watch this. There you go, witnessing. From here, you go to the conscious level of Ra, right? Wherein the thoughts first emerge into the mind. From here, you go to the unconscious level, the witness, Amun. And there you discover what? The witness, the eternal witness, consciousness, which is what? Your higher nature, your true self, the source of your individuality. And they see, right, in the end, vid, that means one, but it's dual. You actually, in reality, you are dual personality. Why? Spirit and human form. And your innermost I, that's the real self. But the ego I is just pretending. It don't know, so it's taking its place. But the innermost I, from here, go deeper and it discovers the what? The consciousness which underlies your very individuality. And this is the universal self. There you go. Your true self, your true nature, the absolute God that abides here in this highest truth, and it discovers when to discover yourself as one with what? The supreme self is all. Again, I am always, and I was, and always will, and shall be what? The immortal, eternal, infinite self. God. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. I enjoyed giving it. Hope you got it. That would make me a lot happier. But in closing, right thinkers, may y'all let it be 100 and me 100 minus a day. This book is almost done. So I never know that my right thinkers have passed away with nods of self.